That's right. I'll just bring Dr. Shola now. Hello, Shola. How are you doing?
I'm
Great
good.
to
How
see
you
you.
doing? Good morning.
It's
Good
so,
afternoon.
it's afternoon. It's afternoon, but it feels you're fresh. We're all fresh. So let's just pretend it's the morning.
Okay.
Raring to go. Now, Shola, you're one of my favorite people, so it's really great to have you on. We last had you on about a year and a half ago, and I think that was we were talking about Meghan Markle, as you'd expect. Now, I just want to put on, this is something I find astonishing. And by the way, for those who don't know, Shola does brilliant books, commentary, brilliant commentator, just all round, many hats. Do look her up as ever. I would just put this clip from a documentary, which is from the Me You Can't See, which I didn't know about at the time, and I shared that on social media, and people were like, "You should have seen this in the first place." But let's just put on a little clip.
That was the start of a learning journey for me. I became aware that I'd been living in a bubble within this family, within this institution, and I was sort of almost trapped in a thought process or a mindset. Within the first 8 days of our relationship being made public was when it said Harry's girl almost straight out of Compton, and that her exotic DNA will be thickening the royal blood. We would get followed, photographed, chased, harassed. The clicking of cameras and the flashes of cameras makes my blood boil. It makes me angry. It takes me back to what happened to my mum, what I experienced when I was a kid.
That's enough.
But it went to a whole new depth with not just traditional media, but also social media platforms as well. I felt completely helpless. I thought my family would help, but every single ask, request, warning, whatever it is, just got met with total silence or total neglect.
Pretty damning stuff, I have to say. I'm really shocked I didn't see that the first time. I mean, just as an example, before this, just an example of the coverage people might or might not be aware. So this is an example of Kate Middleton, Daily Mail, pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump while wrapping up her royal duties. Oh, it's all very cutesy. Same thing with Meghan, but different angle. Why can't Meghan Markle keep her hands off her bump? Experts tackle the question. So that's got the nation talking. Is it pride, vanity, acting? And then let's just look in terms of social media, which Prince Harry was referring to there. Here's one viral tweet. The smirk. She couldn't care less, even holding hands again, walking out, no class, even now disrespecting Queen Elizabeth, traditions and protocol. I mean, that's just, it's just deranged. It's just unhinged stuff. Tell us just what in terms of the last few days with Meghan Markle and social media and all the rest of it. Just give us a kind of your general sense of what's been happening.
It's just been pure madness. It's insanity intensified. Okay, so first of all, I want us to be able to put this in the right context. Before the Queen died, about 2 or so weeks before the Queen died, the entire world, it seemed like the entire Western world, let's give it that way, from Britain to the US to Australia and the like, it was all about Meghan Markle, right? Because of her Archetypes podcast and the interview that she gave. Back to back. It was coverage after coverage, negative coverage after coverage, right? And of course, social media went afire with it. And then the Queen passed away. Harry and Meghan happened to be in the UK. Before they came into the UK, of course, the conversations was around them. Are they going to see the Queen? They come to the UK, then the Queen passes, and look at the depth of the conversations around them. It's almost as though it's not even almost as though we know that there's nothing Meghan Markle will do that will satisfy these people. So the examples you gave around, cradling the bump. It's so ridiculous. Many women do that. I did that with my 3 babies. Either you want to connect with the baby, or maybe you need to just quickly scratch an itch because your belly's stretching, whatever it is. But for her to be continually faced with this abuse, and then look at that comments around Harry and Meghan holding hands. Oh my God, that must be a cardinal sin, right? And then them calling her facial expression a smirk. Okay, let me tell you what a smirk looks like. Priti Deepotidem Patel has a permanent smirk. That is what a smirk looks like, not Meghan Markle. Just the comparison and the continual abuse, it just makes no sense. I am way past trying to understand why people cannot question for themselves, why am I behaving this way to her? Is there some truth to the systemic racism, the bias, that maybe this is coming from a place of bias, racial microaggression, that I'm feeding it, that I'm complicit in it? They don't want to ask themselves this question. Now, when I looked at that video that you just shared, I remember thinking to myself, this is so, it's almost like you take his video, put it side by side with Princess Diana's video, tell me what the difference is. There is no difference. I mean, Princess Diana shared that she was being called sick, mentally ill, that they wanted to keep her in some home. They were isolating her, ostracizing her in order to dismantle her personality. And that's exactly what they're doing to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. We see it. This is why people should call it out.
I mean, before I ask, just in terms of what he said about the royal family, which is very damning, this was a study by BuzzFeed last year, which showed a coordinated campaign of hate against Meghan. A concentrated set of users drive 70% of the hate content. So apparently it was only a few dozen. So 70% is just responsible for, a few dozen. I think it was about 83 accounts responsible for 70%. So this is like a coordinated factory of hatred online.
Right. But it's a coordinated factory of hatred that is aided and abetted, led by, organized by British media, people with real faces, real names. And as far as I'm concerned, the royal family is complicit in this. So when he says that his family did not help, as a mother, I cannot begin to comprehend how anybody could possibly justify that. How can Charles justify that? How could the Queen, how could she even justify it? And can I just say to everyone, I want everyone to just pause right now and think about this. Have you noticed there's been not a single bad press about Camilla since she married King Charles? Think about it. You know that while Princess Diana was alive and shortly after her death, the world was like, hey, we know what you did. We knew all of that. People were into her. But the moment she got married, we've not heard zilch, nada. And what does that tell you? It means that the royal family, King Charles, has the power to nip this in the bud. And I don't want to sound all conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it makes me wonder whether, whenever we hear palace sources, this secretive palace sources and the royal experts, I wonder whether or not Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are being fed to the press in order to cover something else up, to distract from something else happening with the royal family. Because notice how the royal family, i.e. the monarchy as an institution, they defended Prince Andrew. They brought out statements in defense of Prince Andrew. They did not do anything on the sort for Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Not once. Not to protect her, not to do anything. I mean, Harry had to do the unprecedented thing of coming out and speaking out against the racial undertones being used by the press. Nobody in our royal family did that. So then now in 2022, 2021, you have the likes of Prince William coming out and saying, oh, that's just disastrous. That's just terrible. The racism being faced by the footballers, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, boy, you better hold back those words because you have no legitimacy here. If you could not speak out against the racism your own sister-in-law was facing, then this is just performative and we see through you. And this is the point. This is why I think even with the Queen's passing, I don't understand why the monarchy can't see that every action they take will be interpreted towards their legitimacy, towards their relevance. Because how can I trust a king who can't protect his son? If you can't protect your son, you can't protect me. How can I trust an institution that is meant to be there to serve us, but could not even protect its own daughter-in-law, granddaughter-in-law, and son from mental health issues, could not support them? That means when you come with all the, mental health is but I'm like, no, you're talking out of your other whatever, because I don't believe you. If you can't take care of those closest to you, I do not trust that you can take care of me.
I mean, it's such a critical point, that, because obviously that's how they're set up. They're supposed to be the guardians of the nation or whatever. That's how people. There was one Tory MP approvingly referred to their small child saying, King Charles will look after us now, which I'm quite sure that means in practical terms. But in terms of, you made that point with Prince Andrew. and his a former associate of the prolific paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
I mean, what Harry says about the royal family is utterly damning. I mean, what do you think in terms of in terms of what that says about the institution of monarchy, what he's talking about? What does it tell us about King Charles and the institution itself of monarchy?
I think you take what Prince Harry said and then look at the past week since Charles became king. We heard in that his first speech, him express love for Prince Harry and Meghan. And at first I thought, well, that public expression of love, maybe that would go some way in pushing back the detractors and haters, right? I thought maybe. But then they started to mess up. There was a military uniform. He can't wear it. Why can't he wear it? Oh, we weren't given any good reason. I'm like, this is he's not a boy anymore, but I kind of feel like I'm an auntie to Harry. But this is a young man who served his country, who rose up in the ranks, who did 2 tours, right? Who has been supporting injured war veterans, the founder of Invicta Games. I'm sorry, who else is worthy out of you lot to wear the military uniform? And why allow it to be a subject of conversation? And then they did a U-turn. And then we hear about, they were invited. Now they're uninvited. It seems to me that Charles must know that we can see this is intentional. Because if you place your own child in a position to be a subject of mockery, a subject of continued abuse, that people will take every single word you say, they will tear it apart, right? And attack your child, and more importantly, your child's wife. It tells me that you know what you're doing, because the royal family have had 4 years or more. They should understand the blueprint of the systemic, endemic hate that Meghan Markle has been facing because she's a biracial woman. I mean, don't be fooled by we just don't like her because. Okay, well, what's the because? Well, she did this. Who said she did it? Were you there? Because she said it. Okay, who said she said this? Were you there? And the so-called sources can't even come up and say, I'm the one that said this. And those are the palace sources. And the royal experts, all they do is speculate. These are people. Don't let me start naming names because I'll be happy to, but don't let me start naming names. Let me focus, right? These so-called royal experts, the Queen would not be able to pick them out of a crowd of peasants. Yet they have the utter caucasity to open their mouths and say, well, the Queen would be most displeased. The Queen doesn't know you. I mean, you're not royalty. You were never part of the royal family, but you're so wanting to be close and, in proximity to everything, the symbol of the monarchy, that you're creating protocols where they don't exist. I mean, what kind of unhinged human being gets upset that a husband and wife are holding hands at a time of mourning? People who clearly have nothing better in their lives to do.
Just lastly, because I know because I know your kids for start need to use the internet, which we've banned them from doing, so we can talk to you. Lastly, there's an interesting piece. I say interesting in the Sunday Times. Was the Queen the ultimate feminist? Her children took her name. She changed succession laws, and for all her studied inscrutability, Elizabeth II had a power beyond words as a monarch. The Queen is a feminist icon.
Are you kidding me? Okay, let's just break this down right now. I read that and I'm laughing my head off. So first of all, she's not feminist icon to me. Okay, let me help people break this down. She got the role by inheriting it. That's it. It's inheritance, right? And I do not see any young child, any young girl in this country that will look up to the Queen and go, oh, that would be me one day. One day I'll be Queen of the United Kingdom. No child can do that. Certainly not a black or brown child. We know that. So I'm sorry, she's icon for who? And yes, she did do something to change the primogeniture laws, right? We know that. So that, girls in the succession lines are not outpaced by their brothers. That's a good thing. But look at when she did it. First of all, she benefited from the hard work that ordinary working class women in this country had fought for in order to be able to change. So she benefited from the change in society, the evolution in society. The Queen, in her 70 years as Queen, did not publicly, vocally, visibly stand up for gender equality or stand against gender inequality. I mean, there's so many women, thousands upon thousands of women that visibly broke down structural barriers so that girls, I was once upon a girl. I know, I'm a woman now, I know. But I was able to look up to them. And young girls today, including my 3 daughters, can look up to them and go, oh, one day I'm going to be a lawyer, a doctor, an entrepreneur. One day I'm going to go into space. I will start my own business. I will do multiple things. Because you see, those are the women. Those are the icons. They changed society, not Queen Elizabeth II. And every single thing she did to change the laws benefited her family. Didn't benefit you, didn't benefit me. So I'm sorry, what kind of feminist icon is that? But again, look, I respect that everybody has their standards. Some people just have a very low threshold. I mean, because that's a very low standard. If all you had to do was inherit a role and people just out of reverence and deference start to give you exaggerated epitaphs, then well done. And you see, the only reason I'm responding this way, I need people to understand, and many people who are responding this way about the passing of the Queen, it's not because we don't want to be respectful about your right to mourn her or what you want to say about her. It's because you are now being disrespectful to us with your whitewashing and the lies. You know, here I am trying to stay back and they keep reining me back in. I'm like, whoa, hold up. This is Shola now trying to just eat her jollof rice, chill out, be cool, let you people do your thing. And every single time you're bombarding me with wall-to-wall coverage. Oh, she did this. She was Queen Elizabeth the Great. No, she was not. What the hell is the Great? I mean, please, somebody to find out for me. So yeah, that whole thing about feminist icon, I don't agree with it. I don't believe she was an icon. I do not believe, even if she was she a feminist? I would like to know what that is, because we know that the whole understanding of what feminism was and how people refer to them as to themselves as feminists changed over time. So that there was a time that we know that some women did not even want to refer to themselves as feminists. So would Queen Elizabeth have referred to herself as feminist? That'd be great to know, but we don't know. We know nada, absolutely nada. But because people have romanticized Queen Elizabeth so much, they're now trying to bridge the gap. They know nothing about her. Okay, that's the truth. You do not know, neither do I know, but what we do know is what she did not do with the power she had. And let me just quickly add this point. People immediately go, how dare you? That woman, that Shola woman, how dare you? She didn't have any power. She was powerless. Did you just say that she had power? I mean, that headline you just showed said she was a powerful monarch. Liz Truss said she was the reason Britain is great as it is today. Okay, she can't be the reason for your greatness and not have power. People, are we speaking Latin or Swahili? Aren't we speaking English here? You can't write in plain English. Then when we deconstruct your plain English, tell us that what you wrote is not what it means. I know it's Sunday, but people, please don't try my patience. Okay, I'm just trying to be chill today. Get through tomorrow because 20th September cannot come soon enough.
Honestly, so we're both going to get arrested for treason and thrown in the tower, but that's fine. That's the price we pay for expressing our opinions. Shola, honestly, there's so much love in the comments for you, which is unsurprising, because you are, as ever, sensational, just so on point, brilliant stuff. Everyone go and buy This Is Why I Resist by Shola. It's a brilliant book. Can't recommend it enough. So do go and order it now. Just right this second. Shola, honestly, such an honor. You've got to go and let your kids use the internet now, so we'll obviously have to eject you for that for Wi-Fi bandwidth purposes. But endless love, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, and take care.